Okay, so good morning, all of you. Welcome to this third lecture of Advanced Technical Training for Applied Thermodynamics. So, in previous two lectures, we have seen the basic laws of thermodynamics. We have seen first law, second law. Then we have seen the Kelvin-Planck statement, Clausius statement, PMMFK, PMMFK. All these things we have seen in first two lectures. Okay. Then I have conducted one online quiz on that also. So that was for your practice purpose only. Today's lecture will see some advanced topic in ATD, which you did not study in your second year of engineering. So which is named as availability. Other names for availability is exergy. Other name is maximum useful work. Okay. So that we'll see today. It is one advanced topic in applied thermodynamics. So so when you design a system which has some thermal part, in that case, the designer or design engineers usually go for exergy analysis. That means they determine what is the maximum amount of useful work that can be obtained from a system. So that comes under this topic, availability. Okay. So this was actually there when we were studying mechanical engineering, but later it was removed in the syllabus. So it is very useful topic and it is there in the syllabus of GATE or IES. Okay. Okay. So we'll start the topic. The topic name is availability. Another name for that is exergy. Another name is maximum useful work. Okay. Now there are two sources of energy. So sources of energy can be divided into two groups as shown in below. Energy, there are two groups, high grade energy and low grade energy. So this concept we will also study in refrigeration and air conditioning. So there are two types, high grade energy and low grade energy. So what are those? Now, high grade energy, the energy that can be completely transformed into work without any loss. That is fully utilizable. So examples of high grade energy are mechanical work, electrical work, water power, wind power, tidal power. So all those renewable sources of energy, solar energy. So that we can say that high grade of energy. All those non-renewable sources of energy like crude oil, natural gas. So all this comes under the category of low grade energy. So what is low grade energy? Energy of which only a certain portion can be converted into mechanical work is called as low grade energy. So examples of low grade energy are heat or thermal energy, heat derived from combustion of fossil fuels, heat derived from nuclear fission or fusion. So all those non-renewable sources of energy, they comes under the category of low grade energy, high grade energy and low grade energy. Okay. So further, we can divide this low grade energy into two types: exergy or available energy, and energy, which is called as unavailable energy. Okay. Exergy is the available part of the input, which can be converted into work. Unavailable energy is the part of the input energy which cannot be converted into work. Usually, it is associated with the entropy. So any heat transfer which is associated with the entropy, we consider that as a loss of work. Okay. So part of low energy which is available for conversion to work, and rest of energy other than exergy. So exergy is very useful term. It is also one advanced term in the analysis of thermosystems. Okay. So what we are dealing here today is you have some input, and out of the input, how much maximum useful work you can obtain, that we are going to study. Okay. So obviously, when we are a child, in our childhood days, maximum we can write like let us say 5 pages per day, right? When now we are adult, obviously we can write like 20 pages per day. In the period of submission, when there is a submission, you have to write a triple P. That speed also can go maximum up to 40 pages per day. That means your work producing ability has been increased over the years. Okay. So whatever your work producing ability was in your childhood, now it is increased. Okay. So in this chapter, we are actually interested what is the maximum useful work we can obtain. Okay. And what are the sources of loss of work? So available energy, the maximum work output obtained from a certain heat input in a cyclic heat engine is called as available energy. It is also called as exergy. So this is very important term here, exergy. So available energy is the maximum work output obtainable from a certain heat input in a cyclic heat engine. It is also called as exergy. In other words, exergy can also be quantified as the amount of work obtainable by bringing some matter to the state of the thermodynamic equilibrium with common components of natural surrounding through reversible processes. Okay. So here natural environment is very important. That means we are dealing with the dead states P0 and T0. So this is the condition of the environment or atmosphere. P0 is the pressure of the atmosphere. Generally we take it as a 1 atm or generally we take it as a 1 bar. The T0 is the temperature of the atmosphere. Generally we take it as a 25 degrees Celsius. So these are the dead state. Okay. And whatever condition we have above it, let us say I have temperature P1, T1. Okay. So that difference between these two. So whatever difference between these two available energy, we are referring it as a available energy. Okay. So as we go from this stage P1, T1 to dead state, that is P0, T0, our available energy decreases. Okay. Now what is next? Unavailable energy. So minimum energy that has to be rejected to the thing as per second law of thermodynamics is called as unavailable energy. It is also called as energy. So there are two terms, exergy and energy. The portion of energy not available for conversion is called as energy. Mathematically, energy is equal to low grade energy, or we can say input, minus exergy. So exergy is maximum useful work. If I subtract that from input, so whatever remaining, which is considered as a loss, that we are referring it as a energy. Okay, so two important terms are there, exergy and energy. Now availability, useful work is obtained, is available from a finite system as long as there exists positive pressure and temperature difference between the system and the surrounding. So that's what I told you. Okay. Surrounding, let us say surrounding is the atmosphere. It has some pressure and temperature values. If I have higher values, then only I can say I have some available energy. As I approach towards atmospheric conditions, my available energy will decrease. The process will terminate when the pressure and temperatures of the system and surroundings are equal. This stage is referred as dead state. This stage is referred as dead state. Unless otherwise specified, the dead state temperature and pressure are considered as 298 Kelvin. So that is 25 degrees Celsius and 1.01325 bar. Okay, or we can say 100 kilopascal. Greater the deviation of system from the dead state indicates greater availability. The greater the difference from the dead state, so more we are away from the dead state, above or below, we can say we have more available energy. So this is general diagram which is shown for whatever we have just said. So this is a PV graph. So there is this state 1 is there. There is a dead state shown here, P0 and T0. And there is a state 2. Okay. So availability is given here is the difference between these two states. Okay. State 1 and state 0. This is the difference which is considered as availability. Even if you go below this dead state, this will also be considered as availability. Okay. So availability can be above the dead state or it can be below the dead state. Okay. So dead state is important. Once you define the dead state, you can easily define the availability of the system. Okay, availability is the maximum useful work that can be obtained from a system. So date state. So date state refers to the state at which system and environment are at mechanical, thermal, and equilibrium, chemical equilibrium. Okay. Thus, neither there can be any spontaneous change within the system or within the environment, nor any spontaneous interaction between the two. Okay. When all the systems are at mechanical, thermal, and chemical. So, in short, we can say that they are under thermodynamic equilibrium. Date state being a limiting state, it is also called a restricted date state. At date state, the system at same temperature and pressure as that of surrounding and shall have no kinetic energy and potential energy relative to the surrounding. Okay, so that is why it is called as date state. The system shall thus have zero energy or zero availability at date state and yield maximum possible work only if it follows the reversible process from its state to the state of its surrounding. Okay, so it has zero energy or zero exergy, zero available work at the date state. So date state is very important. So this is again another graph. TS diagram is shown here. So we have this state Y, okay. Then we have this state X. So some process takes place from X to Y, okay. This is shown like this, and some heat is being added to the system, okay. Now in this case, total work available is obviously area under this graph, okay. But as this is considered as date state, okay. So this corresponds to date state. Whatever comes below this, that will be unavailable energy. Okay. So date state is important. Whatever above date state, we are considering it as the availability or the maximum available work. Okay. So available energy of the heat source, in that case, we have to know the date state. Whatever energy above date state, that we are referring it as the availability. So there is a derivation for the available energy of the heat source. So available energy is equal to maximum work output or W max. So unavailable energy will be equal to heat input, that is Q minus W max, where QXY is the heat received by the heat engine to execute XY process. Okay. So here is a little derivation is given. If you want to calculate the W max, in that case, this will be total input. So this will be your total input minus unavailable energy, or in short, it is also called as energy. Okay, energy. Or W max, we can say it as a heat input minus T delta S. Okay. So we have seen this. If I want to calculate the A reversibility, so that is amount of heat which cannot be recovered. It usually occurs due to friction or heat loss. So it is a loss from the system. This is generally referred to as a T delta S. Okay. So here integration is taken. We obtain this state. We also can write it as a Q minus T delta S. So unavailable energy will be equal to Q minus W max or equal to T delta S. So that is the significance of entropy. Why we are studying the entropy? By knowing the entropy or change in entropy, we can say that this is the amount of loss of work. Okay. Any work or any heat associated with entropy, that is a loss from the system. So that is why it is called as degree of randomness. Okay. So more the randomness, more will be the loss from the system. Okay. So this is very important concept to learn from here. Entropy is associated with the loss of the work or unavailable energy. So where S1 minus Sx is a change in the entropy of the system. Okay. So we can write down this equation: W max or maximum useful work is equal to heat input minus T delta S. So this is applicable only for this example where a heat engine is receiving some amount of heat input. Okay, so usually we are familiar with this diagram. Heat engine is there, then it receives QH, it performs some work, then it leaves some QL amount of energy. So if I apply this here, so this QL will be your unavailable energy. Unavailable energy. So that will be equal to QH minus W. Okay. And this is, from this equation we can say that this is equal to T delta S. Okay. Next is a very important theorem is there. So it is related to the maximum temperature of the system. So higher the temperature, more will be the availability. That is being proved with this derivation. So decrease in available energy due to finite temperature difference. Okay. So what you see on the screen, there is a diagram. There is a TS curve is there. Okay. Then some process takes place. So this is actually related to the Carnot cycle. This is the Carnot cycle. In this case, process takes place 1 to 2 isothermal heat addition, 2 to 3 isentropic expansion, 3 to 4 is again isothermal heat rejection, 4 to 1 is isentropic compression. Now in this case, you can see the input is Q1. Okay, so here in this case, input we have is Q1. Okay, in this case, loss is Q2. Loss is Q2. Okay. Loss is Q2. So W we can say that input minus loss, or we can say is equal to Q1 minus Q2. Right. So this will be the available work in this case. Now see here, available work is equal to W max. From this diagram, we can say that this is equal to T1 minus T0 into delta S. So whatever difference or the area of this rectangle, so that will be your available work. Unavailable work will be area below 3,4. So that is T0 delta S. So this is a T0 and into delta S. So this will be the your unavailable work. Okay. So see, this is the beauty of second law. We can predict the direction of process as well as we can know the quality and quantity of the work. Okay. So if I am receiving some Q1 amount of work, I can easily say that I have this much amount of maximum useful work, and then I have this amount of loss from the system, available energy and unavailable energy, exergy and energy. Now what will happen if I decrease this temperature? If I decrease this source temperature T1, let us say to T2. So this is another diagram. In this case, this source temperature T1 is reduced to T1 dash. Okay. Now what will happen in this case? See, available energy is W max, maximum useful work. That will be equal to Q1 minus Q2 dash. This will be equal to area under this rectangle. So that will be equal to T1 dash minus T0 into delta. So this will be your available maximum work or availability. Okay. Now clearly in this case, delta S dash is greater than delta S. So this is greater than this by this much amount. Okay. So in this case, Q2 dash will be greater than Q2. Okay. And in this case, W max dash will be less than W max. So what they are saying is here is that available work when I decrease the temperature is less than available work when the temperature was higher. So W max minus W max dash is equal to T naught into delta S dash minus delta S. So they are talking about specifically this rectangle. Okay. So this much amount of work is being lost if I decrease the temperature. So there is a decrease in availability. So we can predict from this that temperature plays a very important role in availability. Higher the temperature, higher will be the availability. If I decrease the temperature, there will be decrease in availability. Okay. What are the conclusion? Whenever heat is transferred through a finite temperature difference, there is always a loss of available energy. Greater the temperature difference, more is the net increase in entropy and therefore loss of available energy. The available energy of a system at higher temperature is more than at lower temperature and decreases progressively as temperature falls. Okay. So higher the temperature, more will be the availability. Quality of energy of a fluid at higher temperature is superior to that at lower temperature. So if a fluid is a higher temperature, it has higher quality of energy or a higher availability. If it has a lower temperature, in that case, it will have lower availability or lower useful work. So next is law of degradation of energy. Okay, so what is law of degradation of energy? When a heat is transferred from system to surrounding, its temperature decreases and hence quality of energy deteriorates. Okay, so as the delta T means temperature difference between system and surrounding. In this case, as the delta T, that is the temperature difference between system and surrounding decreases, quality of energy, the quality of energy also decreases. This degradation is more when heat is transferred at higher temperature than at low temperature. The quantum of energy loss may be the same, that is quantity of energy loss may be the same, but quality wise the loss available energy is different. Energy always conserved quantity wise, so that is from the first law, but energy always degrades quality wise, that is by second law. So second law gives the direction of a process as well as it says about the quality of a process or energy. So higher the temperature difference, higher will be the energy quality. So as the temperature difference decreases, quality of energy decreases. Quality of energy means its ability to perform the work. Okay. This is law of degradation of energy. Now next are two very important terms are there. First is Helmholtz and Gibbs function, and second is Gibbs function. Okay. So what are those? We'll see. So first is Helmholtz function. So Helmholtz function is applicable to only closed system. So consider a closed system, okay, which is initially and finally at the temperature of the environment around it and exchanges heat only with atmosphere. So by first law, we know that this is the equation dq is equal to dw plus du. But only heat transfer is taking place in this case, so dw will be 0. Okay. Okay, so it is performing some work. So okay, in this case, dq, the change in or the heat transfer will be equal to T delta S. Hence, for a non-flow reversible processes, W max will be equal to U1 minus T naught S1 minus U naught into T naught S0. Okay, so this is obtained from this equation. Replacing by T1, T naught by T1 or T2, in this case, we can obtain this equation. So U1 minus T1 S1 minus U2 into T naught S2. So that will be equal to available energy at state 1 minus available energy at state 2. Okay. In this case, they have replaced the date state by some reference state. So this will be equal to A1 minus A0. So this term U minus TS, it is called as Helmholtz function. Okay. What they are saying here is, let us say this is a date state P0, T0. Then there is another state which is a T2, P2. Then there is another state which is the input state, that is P1, T1. So heat is being received at this state P1, T1 and it reaches to state T2, P2. Okay. So this is a loss in available energy. So here it is W max. Okay. The process takes place from 1 to 2. The difference between that two is W max. Okay. So here this term U minus TS, internal energy minus product of temperature and entropy. So this is called as Helmholtz function. Okay. Our next function is the Gibbs function. So Helmholtz function was applicable to closed system, and Gibbs function is applicable to only flow processes. Okay, steady flow processes. So in case flow processes, flow work at the entry P1 V1 supplies from the surrounding to the system, but at exit point work flow P2 V2 is supplied by the system to the surrounding. So in this case, if I want to derive the equation for maximum useful flow work, so that will be equal to change in internal energy, change in heat, and change in flow work. Okay. So this is somehow arranged like this, and it is again derived to like this. So this will be reduced to enthalpy minus product of temperature and entropy. This H minus Ts, enthalpy minus Ts. So this is termed as Gibbs function. So this is termed as Gibbs function. Okay, so maximum useful work will be difference between Gibbs function for flow processes, and maximum work here in this case will be difference between Helmholtz function for a closed system. So if there is a closed system, Helmholtz function will be in work, and if there is a flow process, so Gibbs function will be there. So these are very important terms in this availability chapter. Okay, so what is the conclusion from that? Gibbs function is defined as the difference between enthalpy and product of entropy and temperature. Thus, if a substance enters and leaves a steady flow system at temperature of surrounding atmosphere and exchanges heat only with the atmosphere, the maximum work that can be produced is equal to decrease in Gibbs function. That is for only flow processes. The changes of both Helmholtz and Gibbs function are called as free energy. So this is a question for MCQ. The changes in Gibbs function or changes in Helmholtz function, it is called as free energy. That is energy that is free to be converted to work. Okay. So that is about Helmholtz function and Gibbs function. Now next term here it is effectiveness. So effectiveness is actually ratio of useful work to the maximum useful work. Okay. So effectiveness represents the fraction of maximum useful work, W max, actually utilized, and it is expressed as the ratio of useful work, WU, to the maximum useful work, WU max. Okay. So we have some input, let us say Q. From that it is expected that we will obtain W max amount of work. But again, due to some losses, like frictional losses, we will obtain only WU amount of work. So this conversion, WU divided by W max, so that will be effectiveness. So during cooling or expansion processes, the work produced is at the expense of loss of availability of the system. The work produced increases the availability of the environment, which is objective. So if the availability of system decreases, availability of the surrounding increases. So effectiveness is equal to WU minus W max, gain of availability of the environment divided by loss of availability of the system. So that is the effectiveness term. There are again advanced topics in ATD like heat exchangers. It is there. In case of heat exchangers, also we study effectiveness. Okay. So many topics are there actually under ATD. Heat exchanger itself is a big domain, and there are various MNCs like Thermax which are solely working on this domain of heat exchangers. Right. And the last point in this chapter here it is irreversibility. Okay. So whatever we are saying up to this point, unavailable energy, this is also called as irreversibility. So it is amount of increasing energy. Energy is loss of work or unavailable work. So irreversibility denotes the loss of work due to the fact that all the real processes are irreversible. Okay. So that is a basic rule is there, like all the real processes are irreversible. And is defined as the difference between the maximum work output from the system and the expansion mode. So I is generally denoted as T delta S of universe. Okay, T delta S of universe is T S generation. Okay, so we have seen the Clausius inequality in basic laws, that cyclic integration of dou Q by T is always less than or equal to 0. It is equal to 0 for reversible processes and less than is equal to for reversible processes. So this is for a cyclic processes. For a simple process, the change in entropy. So entropy is the property of a system, is always greater than or equal to dQ by T. Okay. And it is equal to dQ by T only for reversible processes, and ds is always greater than dQ by T for irreversible processes. Now if I want to solve this and make the equal sign and take the integration, in that case this will be equal to S2 minus S1 is equal to integration dQ by T 1 to 2 plus entropy of generation. This is very important term. So whenever a process takes place in the universe, the entropy always increases. So this value is always 0 or positive. So this value is always greater than or equal to 0. Entropy of generation. So irreversibility is the product of temperature of dead state into entropy of generation. Okay. Okay. So this is all about the theory of the availability. I will quickly revise it because some students joined late, and then we can solve the numericals. Okay. So I started with the classification of energy. Energy can be divided as high grade energy, which can be directly converted into mechanical work. Low grade energy means only some part of it will be converted to mechanical work. Then again, low grade energy, we have exergy, which is a maximum useful work. We have energy, which is a unavailable work or unavailable energy. So available energy and unavailable energy. Then availability is defined with the reference of dead state. So we have a dead state at P0, T0, whatever above, whatever below, that would be termed as availability. Okay, so dead state is actually the condition of the environment or the surrounding. So there was this derivation. So it indicated that temperature plays an important role in the availability. Higher the temperature difference between the system and the dead state, higher will be the availability. Then there was a law of degradation of energy. As this delta T decreases, delta T means temperature difference between system and the dead state. As this delta T decreases, the quality of energy also decreases. So all this availability, this chapter comes under second law of thermodynamics. Then we have seen two important functions, Helmholtz function and Gibbs function. Helmholtz function is applicable to only closed system. In that case, we calculate the maximum useful work. Gibbs function is applicable to only flow processes. Okay. So any change in Gibbs function or Helmholtz function, that we are referring here it as a free energy. Then we have seen the effectiveness ratio of useful work to the maximum useful work. Then we have seen the irreversibility, which is a function of change in entropy or entropy generation. So I hope you understood some part of it. This was a new concept. This is some advanced topic in ATD, but it is included in the syllabus of GATE or IS. Okay, so we'll take some problems now. So example number 1, availability of a system at any given state is. So first option is a property of system, the maximum work obtainable as goes to dead state, the total energy of the system, the maximum useful work obtainable as the system goes to dead state. Now, please put your answers in the chat box. We'll see which one is the correct. Okay, so what will be the answer here? What is meant by availability? So already I explained you what is the availability. There are two terms, availability and unavailability, or we can say exergy and energy. Okay. So in any case, so let us first exclude the options which are not relevant. So it is a property of system. So it is not property of system. So this option goes to the spin. So maximum work obtainable as goes to dead state. So this can be considered, okay, total energy of the system. So this is not total energy of system, okay. Then fourth option is maximum useful work obtainable as the system goes to dead state. This is also correct. Now we have option B, we have option C. In that case, we have to check the difference. Now here it is saying maximum work obtainable. Here it is saying maximum useful work obtainable. So this is more correct option is there. Option number D. So it is availability is the maximum useful work that can be obtained. Okay. So Sushant has responded good. Right. The next here it is maximum theoretical work obtainable. When a system interacts to equilibrium with a difference environment, it is called as entropy, exergy, enthalpy, or prothalpy. Okay. So what will be the answer here? Maximum theoretical work obtainable. So obviously maximum theoretical work obtainable will be exergy. So other names for exergy are available energy, right? Option D is just like there was no other name, so they have included load therapy. So it has no meaning. Don't go to Google and search what is load therapy. It has no meaning. Okay, right. Now we'll solve some numerical. Okay. So one. So be ready with your calculus because yesterday there was a problem, big problem, and no answer was given from your side. So don't be afraid of big calculations. Okay. One side of wall is maintained at 400 Kelvin, other at 300 Kelvin. The rate of heat transfer through wall is 1000 watt. The surrounding temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. Assuming no generation of heat within the wall, the irreversibility due to the heat transfer through wall is. Okay. So there is a wall. I think you are very aware of these problems. It is from HMT, heat transfer by conduction. So there is a wall is there, and one is at 400 Kelvin, another is 300 Kelvin. Heat transfer takes place, which is 1000 watt. In this direction, obviously, heat transfer takes place from higher temperature to lower temperature. And somewhere outside here, temperature is 25 degrees Celsius of the surrounding, or it is 298 degrees. Now they are saying there is no internal heat generation. That means internal heat generation. What we are denoting it as a Q dot or I, something like IV dot, right? Zero. There is no internal heat generation. What will be the irreversibility? What will be the I value? Okay. Okay. So we have just seen what is irreversibility. Irreversibility equal to T naught. That is the temperature of dead state into entropy of generation. Now here T naught is given 298 Kelvin, but we don't know S generation, entropy of generation. How to calculate S generation? So I have given you that formula delta S or S2 minus S1 here is equal to integration 1 to 2 dq by T plus entropy of generation. Okay. In this case, change in entropy here it is 0 and integration dq by T we can take from the given condition that will be equal to 100,000 divided by let us say 300. Okay, 1 to 2, right? So 1 will be 400 minus 1000 divided by 300 plus S generation. So here we can calculate S generation. This should always come as positive. Okay. The generation will be what? So if I calculate this will be 10 by 4 minus 10 by 3. So this will be what? 30 minus 40 by 12. So that will be what? 12 by 10 by 12. We can take there. Something 10 by 12 means point 8 something it will come. Okay. So this will be equal to. Any answer is there in the chat box? 8.33. So I think it will be, so if I want to solve this, this will be what, 10 by 4 minus 10 by 3 plus S generation. So this will be what, 30 minus 40, 10 minus 10 divided by 4 into 3, 12. So this will go that side, and S generation will be equal to 10 by 12. So this will be what, 0.8 बार 96 आणि 12 36 परत 12 36 0.833. Okay, so this will be 0.833 watt per Kelvin. So that will be unit for entropy, and then I will be equal to T naught is 298 Kelvin into 0.833. So here the final answer you can calculate, that will be your irreversibility. Okay, so what will the answer final? Do the calculation 298 into 0.83. I think that will come around what, 297 or 290, something like that. Okay, 248.3. So the has given the answer 248.3. That will be right. Okay. So this is amount of irreversibility, and if you subtract that from the input energy, so that will be, from that we can calculate the available energy. Right. So this was asked for 2 marks in 2015 GATE examination. Right. This integration actually we can do very simple. It is, so we can take 1 by T common, integration 1 to 2 dq. So, but in this case temperature is also changing, so we cannot take that way. So we can take this derivation as Q by T 1 to 2. Okay, so that step I have omitted. Directly I came to this step. Okay, next here it is example number 4. So this is this example will give you idea about what is meant by available energy. The pressure, temperature, velocity of air flowing in a pipe are 5 bar, 500 Kelvin and 50 meters per second respectively. The specific heats of air at constant pressure and constant volume are given. Neglect potential energy if the pressure and temperature of the surrounding are 1 bar and 300 Kelvin respectively. The available energy in kilojoule per kg of the air stream is. Okay. So in this case, they are given some energy inputs. From that, you have to calculate the total available energy. Okay. In this case, this formula for available energy will be equal to, so this is a flow process. So in that case, we'll deal with the enthalpy. So this will be equal to H1 minus H2, whatever difference between the enthalpies. Here H2 is nothing but the dead state, which is given at 1 bar and 300 Kelvin. So H naught. So plus V1 square. So kinetic energy we have to take into consideration. V1 square by 2 minus V2 square by 2. This I have taken from the SFE equation, and minus whatever that T delta is, that is a loss we are considering, T naught into S1 minus S naught. Okay, so this will be your formula in this case. Okay, so one by one you can calculate. H enthalpy will be equal to Cp T, so H1 T1. So Cp is given in this case 1.005 into T1 is 500 Kelvin, right? So that you can calculate from this. H naught you can calculate Cp into T naught. Okay, so 1.005 into again T naught is 300 Kelvin. That you can calculate. Okay. Now V1 is given in this case. V1 is given as 5 meter per second, right? Sorry, 50 meter per second. V2 is not given, so we'll assume it as 0. Again, S1 minus S0 is not given. So S1 minus S0. So there is a equation for change in entropy for ideal gases. So from that, I will take that relation directly. So there was actually one derivation, if you remember, in ATD, change in entropy. So Cp ln T1 by T0 minus R ln P1 by P0. This is a relation for the change in entropy. Okay. So calculate first this change in entropy. Put the values 1005. Ln T1 is 500, T0 is 300. R for air is 287. We all know. Log P1 is given as 5 bar and P0 is given as 1 bar. So calculate this change in entropy. Okay, and finally you can put in available energies form. Change in enthalpy, this you can put here. Okay, H1 minus H0 plus this 50 meter square by 2 minus 300 into this, whatever this change in entropy comes, that you can directly put here, and then you can calculate the available energy. Okay, so they are directly said neglect potential energy, so we are not consider potential energy, we have considered kinetic energy here, then we have considered flow energy, then minus whatever irreversibility in the system, T naught delta S, that we have considered. So this is a loss. This is loss, this is kinetic energy, and this is flow energy. Okay, so we have some answers here. 187, so 2 answers are there, so I will take that. So 187 units will be kilojoule per kg. Right? So this is was again asked in 2013 GATE for 2 marks. So this is a type of numerical question. You have to type your answer there. So depending on your accuracy of digits, you will be awarded the marks. Okay. So there will be, I think there is one MCQ. So this is MCQ type actually. Option number B will be correct. So this is the last example of today's lecture. So I will put there in the PPT. You can work on it. Also, I will give you that GATE book's PDF scan copy. Okay, so you can solve this. Last bit of today's lecture is third law of thermodynamics. Okay, so Up to this point, we have studied zeroth law, first law, and second law. And there is also third law of the thermodynamics. Okay. What is that? The third law of thermodynamics is sometimes stated as follow. The entropy of perfect crystal at absolute zero is exactly equal to zero. So at 0 Kelvin, the system must be in a state with the minimum possible energy. And this statement of the third law holds true if the perfect crystal has only one minimum energy state. So you might have studied in your 12th. So there are some crystalline structures are there inside the molecule. So different crystal structures can be observed. So if there is only one crystal structure of the substance, and if it achieves 0 Kelvin temperature, at that state only we can say that there is zero entropy. Okay. So entropy is related to the number of possible microstates, and with only one microstate available at 0 Kelvin, entropy is exactly zero. More general form of the third law applies to the systems such as glasses that may have more than one minimum energy state. Okay. If the glasses have multiple microstates, so it will have multiple minimum energy states. Okay. So this is applicable to only one crystal structure. Okay. If there is only one crystal, perfect crystal at absolute zero, in that case, their entropy will be zero. Okay. So that is the statement for the third law. Right. Okay, so I guess Gayatri and Omkar have that book of GATE, so they are trying to be over smart here. So I have given this example for the homework. You can try at home. Okay. So this is the last point of today's lecture, third law of thermodynamics. With these, all these laws are being covered. Okay. So that is all about today's lectures. In today's lecture, so we have given studied availability, that is maximum useful work. Then we have studied unavailable energy or irreversibility, that is the loss of useful work. Then we have solved some problems, and then last we have seen the third law of thermodynamics. That is, for given crystal structure at 0 Kelvin temperature, the entropy is zero. Okay. Actually, this is also very impossible to achieve this state, because if you want to achieve zero entropy, it will take infinite steps to achieve that. So it is also practically impossible, but it is there. So right.